If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know I recently asked if anyone would want to see how I do my makeup. So I'm NW50 and I have acne scars, dark circles, all of that. And I'm going to show you how I cover it and I do my makeup. So we'll begin. Excuse me if I'm not looking directly at the camera because I'm not going to be using a mirror. First, I start with the Select Coverup, and this is an NW40. I use this under my eyes to hide my dark circles. And I just pat that in my skin with the finger. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to blend this with your foundation. Next, I use the Studio Finish Concealer in NW50, my skin color. And I use a concealer brush. And I only put the concealer on my acne scars. And I just press this on top of the scars, and you can see I have a lot. So I've had acne since I was younger. So I just put this. You can see I'm suffering from a breakout now. So I'll show you how I make this look as decent as possible. And I just sporadically pat it where I see the dark spots. Next step, I take my foundation, and now I'm using the Matchmaster in a 9.0. And like I said before, I'm NW50. And I put this on the back of my hand. And I dab it on my skin. Hold on 1 second, I grabbed the wrong one. I have 3 of them, so I never know which one has the foundation in it. And I dab this all around my face. As you can see, you can already see a change in what my face looks like. I try to only use 2 pumps because I don't like a heavy foundation look. Then I take my buffer brush. This one is Sonia Kashuk, and I got this from Target. I think it was $13. And I spray it with Fix Plus. I do about 2 sprays. And then I start to blend it in a circular motion to cover the pores. First, I go all around my face in one direction, by my ears, down my neck, and then I go in the other direction, all around. And this will blend into my pores, so they're not so obvious because I have obvious pores as well. And I put it all around. And sometimes I have to go back over my scars with the concealer just because sometimes they can peek through my foundation, and I really don't like that. It doesn't make me feel my best. So I just go over it a little bit. If I see some that are still kind of peeking out, spray my brush one more time and just blend that. Okay, now that my foundation is done, I do my brows. I do my brows on top of my foundation because I don't like that look where there's a space that's not blended by the eyebrows. I don't like that look, so I just put my brows on top of my foundation. And as you can see, my brows are very, very faint. I've never plucked them. This is how they've always been. So to do my brows, I use, this is the Maybelline pencil Expert Wear. I believe it's dark brown. And I always, well, now I don't have to do it, but you want to start your brow. If you measure like this is where you want your brow to start. If you turn your pencil this way and you want it to start by your nose, this is where you want your brow to end. If you put it up this way, this is where you want your arch. If you have a problem doing your brows, that's the best way to follow. So I start at the bottom and I make a line at the bottom of where my natural hairs are. And I make that line. That's the guide that I use. And then I just I do these very messy because I brush them out. So this doesn't have to be perfect. You just need the bottom guide basically. And then I just fill them in like that. And I do the other one as well. And you want your brows to look like they're related. They don't have to look exactly the same because that looks kind of weird. Like that. That's how my brows start. And I do them this way every day. Now that I have the pencil on, I take this, has the brush and the comb. I got this one from Sephora. And I take the brush and I just brush out a little bit of the pencil, so I don't want it to be so harsh. This is why I use a lot of the pencil. And also the little hairs that I do have kind of brushes them into place. Next I take a concealer brush. I got this one from Sephora as well. It's a flat brush, if you can see that, it's flat. And I take Studio Finish Concealer in NC45. I know it sounds really light. And I start to work out carving my brow. And I blend the concealer down. And then this one. My TV is always on Investigation Discovery. And this will also be the base that I use for my eyeshadow, because I usually don't have a lot of time to use lots of different products. So I just use my concealer. May look a little crazy now, but it will come together. And blend that down. And it also helps with the natural highlight as well. Okay, then I take a small angle brush and brown eyeshadow. I use the brown eyeshadow out of the Vanity palette. You can see that. This brown shadow here. I've tried so many different brown shadows. This is the one that works the best for me. You can use whatever you have. And I just use it to make my brow a little more precise at the bottom and the tail. And if you mess up, you can always take your concealer and clean it up again. My eyebrows usually take me the longest to do. It's a little harder because I'm not using an actual mirror to do them, but we're going to do the best that we can. And I push up at the front of my brow. And with whatever is left on the top of my brow, a little bit before the arch, I just clean that up. I don't clean up the whole brow at the top. And again, I just use whatever is left on the brush. No extra product. And I take the brush that I used for the NW50 and just go over it, so it's not really light. And again, I don't add any more product. I just use whatever is left there. Okay. Now I'm going to add just the concealer on my lid. Doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to cover it. I'm going to show you how I do a really quick eyeshadow look. And I have a couple of more steps for my face and then be done. Oops. So for my eyes, I'm going to use this 28 color palette, the Smoky Eye Edition from BH Cosmetics. If you haven't heard about them, I don't know where you live because they are the best. as far as eyeshadow is concerned, because I used to buy MAC. They're like $15 an eyeshadow, and the pigment was never right for my skin tone. So this is what it looks like. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but maybe we'll go with this purple. I'll recreate the look that one of my besties said she wanted a tutorial for. So this is for you, Damo. So I take a brush and I use a large flat shader brush. I believe that's what it's called. This one that I have is from MAC. I think it's the number 252. I'm not sure because I can't see it anymore. And I just pat this on the front of my eye. And when you're doing your eyeshadow, you'll find that you have a bone here by your eye socket. That's your lid space. From that bone down is your lid space. I usually try not to take the eyeshadow higher than that because I don't want one whole color over the lid. That's not how you do eyeshadow. So I'm taking this and I'm patting it on my eye. And as you can see, BH Cosmetics eyeshadow pigment is awesome. I don't have to worry about layering too much that I found with other eyeshadows with my skin tone. So I put this on, and I have this little space here on the outer part of my eye. I'm gonna flip my brush over, and I'm gonna use this darker blue that's right next to the purple. I'm gonna use that and tap it off, and I'm going to place it right here at the end and start to turn my brush so that it gets right in that space. You can see my brush is kind of tilted to the side, and I pat and go up. See? So I start here and I tilt to the side while patting and go up. And that will give you the outer darker color. Lots of girls say outer V, and sometimes you don't know what that is or how to do it, and it can be a little confusing if you have never done makeup before. So if you do that, you'll always have the outer part. So I start with the brush straight up and down, and I start to tilt it while patting in the eyeshadow and bringing it up and connecting it with the first color. And that's how I get my outer smoky. I'm going to take this shadow here in the corner, just a little bit, and I'm going to put it right where the purple and the blue meet. It's going to darken up the blue when I blend it. This color, and put it right at the outer part. Now you'll see, you can see the two colors. And if you go on my Instagram page, you'll see that this is how I wore my makeup yesterday to work. And this is how I did it. And the bottom, forgot about the bottom. The bottom, I'm gonna use purple. Sorry about that. The bottom, I'm gonna use the purple. And you just tap your brush so you don't get that much fallout, because you are going to experience some fallout. And that is the worst after you already done your foundation. So this is how my eyeshadow looks before I blend it. Now I go back to the Vanity palette. This palette here, which is awesome. I have a fluffy brush from MAC, 217. Awesome. Love it. And I'm going into this color here. And at the top of my eyeshadow, that is where I add that color and blend out that line. Just the top of my eyeshadow. I don't like to blend any further down because I like the look of having the colors there very, very bold. I do the same thing for this side. And I just blend out that line. I don't bring it too far down. If I bring it too far down, I just add more color. Whatever is left on the brush. I don't add any more product. So that's it for my eyeshadow. Really fast. And I use this LA Girl Pro concealer. This is the color Fawn. And I use that underneath my eye. I don't do any other highlighting, all that contouring. I don't do any of that. I just do under the eye, mainly because I like how it brightens my face a little bit, and it also really helps mask the fact that I don't get a lot of sleep. Makes me look awake. And this brush that I'm using, I got from Sephora. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's a concealer brush, but don't quote me on that. They have the silver handles. Actually, did I say concealer? I meant foundation. I don't know. It's a taper foundation brush. Actually, I can still see the writing on this brush. So it's a taper foundation brush. And it gets in the corners right by my nose. Just a little light. I take my Sonia Kashuk brush and push it by the sides of my nose so you don't see that line. I also blend down by my cheeks and on the side. I take Ben Nye banana powder. And yes, we can use this. NW50 girls can use it. And I have a BH Cosmetics brush. It's an angled brush. And I just use that for my under eye. I like it because it's yellow. And it doesn't leave that ghostly look that we can sometimes get if we use products that are not meant for our skin tone. Then I have another angle brush from MAC. I cannot see the number of this brush. I've had it forever. And I use it to put my blush. This is MAC's Raizin blush. It's a matte blush. And I use that right where the end of my concealer is. And I bring it up the sides by my temples. Not higher than that. That's the only place I put this color. I don't put it on the apples of my cheeks. I don't really care for the apple of the cheek blush look. So I put it lower just to add the color, a little color back to my face. Now, if you don't like to wear eyelashes, you're done. Basically, I just put, this is the Mineralize Skinfinish, and it's in deep dark. And I have a BH Cosmetics brush, and I put it over the banana powder so it's not really bright if I take pictures or something. Underneath my neck and my forehead. Excuse my son, he's a mess. And I always put Smolder Kohl in my waterline by MAC. Before I do that, I spray my face again with Fix Plus. Put the Smolder. So this is the finished look, and I added eyelashes. They're by Creme, and they're number $1.99. I also added bronze shimmer by MAC. It's a frost finish. If you girls like this video, thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram. I'll have all of that below. I'll have every item that I used down below. If you have any questions, then comment and I'll answer them. That's it. Thanks, guys.